You keep tweaking your pricing, your packaging, your pitch, and so on. But the real block goes deeper than that. So let's go there. Okay. Undercharging is a real thing, right? It's often rooted in visibility trauma. Okay. And so, what do I mean by that? I mean, you fear being seen, you fear being judged, you fear being rejected. What are they going to think about me? What are they going to say about me? Are they going to think, I'm worth this price? Am I overcharging? Am I undercharging? Am I worthy of this price, right? Are people going to believe me and invest in me? Like, you're so concerned about what everyone else thinks about you, that you're not charging based on the transformation you get for someone and the value that you bring to the table. Okay, all of a sudden, like you were the expert in your industry when you were working in corporate America and perhaps still are to some degree, right? But now that you're in business, all of a sudden you're no longer the expert. It's like you forget all about that and it goes out the window. And that's a problem, right? Because then you bring all of that into your business and now you're not charging what your work is worth, not necessarily what you're worth, because you're priceless, right? You are an invaluable, like what you bring to the table is invaluable. Okay. But you do have to put a price on what you bring to the table as far as the transformation you get for the people that you're called to serve and the clients that you're actually working with. You feel what I'm saying? So that's a problem because you're so concerned about the rejection piece. You're so concerned about, oh my God, what are people going to think? And all of that jazz. But you've got to start really looking more internally and not for like external validation from other people, especially those who actually you'd be surprised. People who really invest at a higher level, who understand what deep transformation looks like, or at least who are problem aware that they need the transformation, they are looking for value based premium priced offers. Believe it or not, it's really true, right? But you might be used to low ticket offers, discount people who are looking for discounts, freebie seekers, people who do chargebacks, people who are, more of a headache and a hassle than it's worth, right? Those kinds of people. If you're used to that bunch of people, that type of person, then that's another reason why you're kind of shying away from charging more and charging what your work is worth. And you have that fear. So what happens is you stay in that kind of low ticket price range, and that keeps you safe. But you know what else it does? It keeps you invisible. It doesn't put you out there. So part of the problem is, or let me just say it like this, there is a link between self-worth and pricing. A link between self-worth and pricing. And that means you've got to charge based on confidence sometimes, not necessarily the clarity. Like maybe you don't have the full clarity yet, which is why you need to really, because clarity is always key and it's always one of the first steps that I take with my clients. So if you've not gotten the full clarity, you should be working with a business coach, okay? But sometimes even without the full, clarity piece of things, as you're working towards clarity, you still can charge with confidence what your work is worth. Okay, you still can charge a premium price. Listen, when I first started this business, I started back in 2016 high ticket. I didn't sell a bunch of low ticket offers, all the eBooks and the templates and all the digital products and courses and stuff. I started with a high ticket. No, I take that back. Not initially. I take that back. I did charge but I was using the wrong business model in the beginning. I was actually charging hourly, okay, and had the nerve to discount my prices. But that's in the very, very beginning. But by my second year, going into my second year, I hired a business coach, my first business coach, and I started charging high ticket. It's not because I wasn't charging lower rates because I didn't understand my worth, though, although that's oftentimes true for many entrepreneurs and business people. Like when they go into business, especially women as compared to our male counterparts, we just tend to charge lower rates, right? We think we're doing people a favor, but we're actually doing people a disservice, even, and we're especially doing ourselves a disservice. So when I learned a new business model, when I learned about value-based pricing and high ticket offers and all of that, I switched right away. So I literally went from charging $125 an hour, okay, consulting and coaching, because I thought, and I was a mobile coach and consultant at that time. So I was actually utilizing, I was going around to different businesses that, women had that, are my clients, I mean, and helping them with their businesses, not just online services, but if they had a product-based business, service-based business, brick and mortar, all the things. See, all of that was wrong, 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 so wrong. Okay. And I was literally driving myself crazy. And I was working with clients who were a nightmare. They were not my dream clients. Okay. So I'm here to tell you firsthand, I've had this experience. And I had to go from, like, once I learned at my first big conference, a Lisa Nichols conference that I went to, that's where I really learned about, high ticket pricing models and business models that were going to serve me well and bring the kind of clients that I wanted to attract and work with. That's when I realized, oh, it just was a light switch that went on. And immediately when I left that conference, I went from $125 an hour charging, okay, to charging $5,500 for a high ticket. That was my first high ticket. So that was confidence. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't have full clarity yet. I was still trying to understand, and because I hadn't yet hired, I don't believe yet I had hired my first business coach just yet. I believe that came after that conference, I wanted to say, but either way, somewhere around that time frame, I didn't have full clarity, but I had the confidence to charge, and that's what you need. Also, something important. I need you to hear me and hear me really clear. When some of what is going on with you right now is that you are charging, like, you're bringing your childhood trauma, right? Your workplace trauma and like the systemic pressures of society into your business. That does show up in sales. How? Because it depends on what your relationship is with money and what your story is with money. What dialogue are you having in your mind? What's the narrative you're telling yourself, right? If you don't change that from when you were young, if you learned, oh, money don't grow on trees, why are why are you coming to me for money? I ain't no bank. Oh, be careful. Don't get too much money. Don't spend it all at once. Money burns a hole in your hands, right? Oh, it takes money to make money. You got to work hard for the money. All of those kinds of messages that you learned growing up is affecting you in business now because you still hold on to those same beliefs. You see what I'm saying? And also true for if you worked in an environment in corporate America where you got paid on the lower end, where you may have gone to ask for a raise, or maybe you didn't because you were afraid to ask for a raise because you already had a narrative in your mind that they were going to turn you down and say no, right? Or maybe you didn't feel worthy. That could be lingering from your childhood into your workplace into now business, right? If you've never healed that, do you understand? So those things are playing a big part and is a critical component of what's going on with you right now in your business, and it's affecting your sales in a big way. So you've got to change your relationship with money. You've got to change your money story, and you've got to get crystal clear in what it is you're offering and the value that you actually do bring, and what your unique service proposition is, and just what makes you unique in this market, and how you get transformation for the people that you are called to serve and those that actually work with you. Okay, the people that you're trying to attract or that you are attracting should be the very people that you can actually do your best work with and get the best results for. All right. So systemic society will tell you too, like if you're listening to some of the language that's out here around like hustling and all of that, no, we are embracing ease at this big old age, okay? And the soft life as well. That kind of ties in together. That's what we're doing these days because that's what we need to do, because that's what we are deserving of. And that's what we really envision for ourselves. We didn't envision ourselves hustling harder, in our businesses than we did in our jobs, right? That's not what we got into this for. It's like, yes, I do want to make, a big impact, but I also want a big income to go with it, right? Yes, I want bigger profits for sure. And I want the pleasurable things in life, and I want peace, right? So that's what we need to be working towards. And the way you get there, big part of the way you get there is when you are valuing yourself, valuing your business and what you bring to the table, and you make sure that you're charging what your work and the transformation that you're bringing is worth. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, there's also a cost of holding on to those low prices. because I have these conversations with women all the time, so I'm just like really thinking of real life examples to give you. But what I can tell you is the women that I work with that just like, they're like insisting on holding on to those low prices, it's costing them something. It's costing them burnout. It's costing them resistance. It's costing them to be energetically misaligned with the kind of clients they are attracting. I can't say this enough times. So I'm going to say it 101 more times at least. Here's the thing. You have the lack of capacity to grow or innovate when you are charging at your lowest because it's not really the truth is you're just not valuing, like what you have to offer. Like, I don't know, there's just no other way to say that. You know what I'm saying? You have to believe in yourself and believe in what you're serving and believe in what you are selling to the people who are investing in you so much that they believe it. Right? This is not about convincing and converting people. This is not that you have to persuade people. It's about you conditioning the minds of those you're called to serve so that they understand that you are the choice. You are it. You are top of mind. You are practically a household name or building towards that. Like there is no other option. You are the solution to their problem, to their desire, to their urgent need. You have to believe that more than anybody. And you have to believe that if you're not charging a premium price for it, then you're doing them a disservice because they're not going to get the real help that they need in the true transformation that they're deserving of, that they desire, right? That's what I'm saying. Now, if you're getting what I'm giving and you love these gems I'm dropping, go ahead and leave a comment right now so we can get this discussion popping. I always want to make sure we are having a dialogue beyond this video. So as you are hearing the sound of my voice, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a single episode when I go live and or drop new content, okay? Now, let's get back to business because I want you to know how you are able to shift into an aligned premium pricing. Aligned premium pricing. Notice I said aligned because if we want to get to the bag, like really, really, really secure the bag, it's this all about alignment and profitability. Okay. I want you to just start small. Just start small. Start with that's the first step. Okay, right now you might be charging hourly. Can you now just switch to a value-based offer? Right? Can you switch to that business model? Okay, you don't want to charge 20 grand for your high ticket, for your North Star offer, right? Can you start with 5,500 if right now you're selling it for under 1,000, right? If you're charging 3,500 right now, can you boost that up a little to say 4,400 or $5,500, right? Can you say, okay, instead of me working one-on-one with a bunch of clients, I'm going to do a group package, right? I'm going to work with a bunch of like 20, maybe not a bunch, right? But maybe you only need 3 to 5 people to hit your revenue goal. That's what high ticket does for you. It allows you to hit your revenue goals with ease because you are only required to work with 2 to 3, maybe 5 at most individuals to make the money consistently, and it's an easier sell than you hustling hard for all of those low ticket offers. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's so important because you want to reserve or preserve your energy and protect your peace and your time. That's so, so important. Now, so start small, okay? Just increase your prices little by little. And once you do that, you're going to realize how much easier it is to sell those offers, and you're not going to have a problem after that to increase your packages and your products and your services, right? Your offers. This is going to help you build that safety net that you're looking for, right? That security blanket that you're missing right now, and it will help you become more visible instead of being invisible like you are right now. Okay. Also know that when you do this, you're going to be creating transformational results, which is what people are looking for. They're looking for real answers. So just think of yourself, and I use this analogy all the time, coming from the healthcare world. I'm an RN. If for those of you who are new here, and those of you who know me, I tell you all the time that I'm a holistic business coach. I'm an RN health and wellness educator. You want to make sure, if you're thinking of it from that perspective, using that analogy, right? A doctor and a nurse, or excuse me, a doctor and a patient, or a nurse and a patient relationship. If you go to a doctor as the patient and you go to them with the problem that you're having, you want them to solve your problem, right? And that is not necessarily a cheap solution that they're going to be bringing to you, but if it's going to help you get out of the pain you're in or solve an urgent need that you have, you're going to more than likely find a way to make it happen. Same is true for your client. So you can't be thinking people just don't got the money and the resources to pay or to invest in you at this level, a higher level, at a high ticket rate, when in fact maybe the part of the problem too is because you haven't yet invested at a higher rate. You haven't hired a business coach and invested at that level. So you're projecting your fears and your problems and your thought process on what others can do because of what you do or don't do, right? But you've got to start being the type of coach and consultant that or the type of client that you want to attract, right? That's another reason why you might be misaligned. Okay. So make it about creating transformational results, not just transactions. Okay. Also, I want to talk really quickly about why high ticket pricing isn't greedy. Excuse me. It is grounded. It is grounded in your energy, in your time, in your genius, your zone of genius, your level of expertise. All of that is sacred. That is, again, coupled with your unique service or unique value, used interchangeably, proposition, USP or UVP. Okay. What makes you unique? How are you the unicorn here? Is what we're talking about. So, and here's the truth, you serve better and when you have the capacity and when you're not depleted, right? Which gives you the capacity because now you have the bandwidth to serve the people that you are called to serve. Does that make sense? So, if you are ready to step in to your next level value and visibility, I want you to book your clarity call with me, okay? Your freedom and focus clarity call. Let's go ahead and raise your rates, girl, and your self-worth while you're at it, and your level of confidence, okay? Let's do that together. But I also want to offer you this. The women featured, excuse me, in the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women, okay, are proof that you don't have to shrink to succeed. You don't have to play small. You can dream big. You can play big. You can invest big. You can win big. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I want you to learn. And you're going to be amongst good company, right? Women who are in this to win this together. So go ahead and grab your replay so that you can expand your vision. If you identify as a Black woman, and if you don't, but you know someone who is that can benefit from this, go ahead and share this resource with them or gift them with it, right? So that you have the opportunity to benefit from this really, really epic event. Okay. And I thank you so much for being here and showing up for yourself. It's needed. You're needed. You are a gift to this world, and there are people out there who need you. Okay. Believe that. Now, I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends and make sure you watch the next video that YouTube recommends, okay? As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.